Ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, my name is Raven, and today I'm going to be bringing you the Legion balance changes and hotfixes that are going to be dropping next maintenance cycle. So, basically, this video is more for people who are too busy playing the game or doing other things, so it's going to be just my voice sort of thing, telling you all of the changes that are coming to all the classes, what fixes are being put in place, what numbers are being changed, and how everything is going to work. So, without further ado, I'm going to go on and I'm going to be starting with the Death Knight. Alright guys, so not much is changing for the Death Knight. Basically, Frost is getting a massive fucking buff. Remorseless Winter's damage is being increased by 50%. Obliterate's damage is being increased by 19%. Frost Strike's damage is increased by 12%. Howling Blast damage increased by 10%. Frost Scythe, the talent, damage is being increased by 13%. Frozen Pulse talent, damage is being increased by 11%. And Breath of Sindragosa, the talent is being increased by 17%. So, Frost is getting a massive buff across the entire fucking board. Like, they're going to be very, very viable after this. Alright, moving on to my main spec, the Havoc Demon Hunter. And they are getting absolutely fucked in the asshole. So, right now, the Havoc Demon Hunter, there is only one main build to put out the best DPS possible, and that is the Bloodlet Fel Rush build. It requires a lot of dancing around and a lot of being on point with your cooldowns, and yeah, it's kind of getting absolutely destroyed because everyone's taking it as the best one. So now this should help put a couple of other builds in line. Let's kick it off with what's being changed. Throw Glaive's damage is being reduced by 30%. Ouch. Fel Mastery, the talent, which is, it basically makes your Fel Rush completely viable and part of your kit. The damage bonus to Fel Rush reduced to 30%. Once again, ouch. Bloodlet, the talent, now deals only 100% of initial throw glaive damage instead of 200%. Fury of the Illidari, which is our artifact ability, the damage of that is being reduced by 20%. Oh, this really hurts me so bad. Yeah, basically the Bloodlet Fel Rush spec is dead in the water. This is really going to hurt it, so now I'm going to have to try and change up my build to try and make something else that works and does a fuckload of damage, because yeah, they got smashed. That hurts. Alright, moving on to Vengeance Demon Hunter. Mastery now provides 50% less damage reduction per point. Out. Demon Spike's damage reduction increased to 20%. That's nice. Hopefully now they'll be more viable when it comes to just their flat out mitigation. They don't have much to begin with, so that should help with the mitigation. Alright, now we're moving on to the Druids. Not much has changed for the Druids. Balance is getting a massive buff. I don't know why Balance needs a buff, but it's getting a buff. Sunfire damage is increased by 10%. Starfall damage is increased by 10%. Lunar Strike damage increased by 5%. And Solar Wrath damage increased by 5%. So yeah, they're getting just a flat out buff across the board. And Moonfire for non-feral Druids is increased by 10% across the board as well for everyone else. Balanced, you're doing good before, now you're doing even better. Alright, mages. So, for anyone who's played a mage or knows about the situation with mages, fire mages are just absolutely fucking crushing it all over the place right now. So, in order to try and bring the other two specs up in line, they're both getting a massive buff. So, we'll start with Arcane. Mastery effects increased by 20%. Very nice. Arcane Missile damage is increased by 9%, and Arcane Blast damage increased by 10%. So Arcane's getting a nice little buff there. Frost though is getting a huge fucking buff across the board. It's another fucking Frost DK. So Frostbolt damage is increased by 8%. Ice Lance damage is increased by 13%. Flurry damage is increased by 38%. Blizzard damage is also increased by 36%, and the mana cost is reduced by 50%. Fuck, that's nice. Spitting Ice, which is the talent, now causes 80% of normal damage, up from 50%. Shit. Ice Nova, the talent, damage increased by 13%. My god. Ray of Frost damage has been increased by 28%. And I don't know why this fucking needed it, but Glacial Spike damage increased by 15%. That thing hits like a bus already. What are you doing? So yeah, mages all up are getting a buff. A little one for Arcane. Frost just through the fucking roof. Hunters. So, Barrage for non-survival spec. Damage is being reduced by 20%. Eat a dick. Beast Mastery. Bestial Wrath damage bonus increased by 25%. Damn. And of course, they're trying to show some love to survival, and flanking strikes damage is increased by 62%. So hunters are getting beast and survival getting a buff, and marksman basically has got shot in the foot and lost 20% damage on its barrage. Moving on to monks, and there is pretty much nothing much for the monks. Just spinning crane kick for the Mistweaver. The damage reduced by 25%. So yeah, less damage for that, but no one really uses it anyway. Moving on to paladins, retribution, my friends. You've been neglected this entire time, and now you are getting some love. So you're getting a massive buff. Templar's Verdict's damage is increased by 10%. Divine Storm's damage increased by 20%. Crusader Strike damage only for retribution is increased by 13%. Blade of Justice damage is increased by 13%. Judgment for retribution is increased by 13% as well, damage-wise. Zeal, the talent, damage is increased by 13%, and Blade of Wrath, the talent, is increased by 13% damage as well. So yeah, it's not as big a buff as what Frost Death Knights and Frost Mages are getting. Like, their percentages they're giving them are fucking insane. Hopefully this will help out retribution a little bit, because they're pulling really shit numbers at the moment, and it's not really their fault. So we're going to move on to the Priest, Prestos. Holy Nova's damage reduced by 16%. And Shadow is the only other one that's getting a buff. Basically, Mindseer's damage and Insanity Generation is increased by 50%. Fuck, that's very, very nice. And if we look at Void Form stacks no longer increase with, well, Dispersion and Void Torrent are active. So yeah, that's gonna kind of suck a little bit for that, but at least you're getting the extra 50% Insanity Generation and damage from Mind Shear. That should help a bit. Now, moving on to the Rogue. Death from above across all specs. The talent area damage is increased by 100%. And then we have Assassination. So, Deadly Poison's damage increased by 30%. Fan of Knives damage increased by 30%. Very nice. Bag of Tricks, artifact trait. Duration reduced to 3 seconds. And the radius increased to 6 yards from 3. Now benefits from Mastery. Very good change there. And Poison Knives, the artifact trait, no longer benefits from Mastery. Damage per point increased to 4%. Alright, moving on to the Outlaw Rogue. So Fatebringer, artifact trait, energy cost reduced to 3 per rank. Fate's Thirst, artifact trait, damage bonus to run through reduced to 6% per rank. And Black Powder, artifact trait, damage bonus to between the eyes reduced to 6% per rank. So they basically just got a flat out nerf across the board. Looking at Subtlety. Subtlety has gotten a big buff. Eviscerate damage increased by 15%. Nightblade damage increased by 15%. So yeah, they just basically got a flat out buff to the amount of damage you're going to be putting out as Subtlety. Very good. Moving on to the Shaman. So Mastery effects for Elemental. Mastery effects increased by 12.5%. Chain Lightning Maelstrom Generation increased to 6. Lightning Bolt Elemental damage increased by 23%, so they're getting a big buff because Elemental right now is in a kind of crappy place. Chain Lightning Elemental damage increased by 20%. Lava Burst damage increased by 5%. And Storm Element, the talents, basically Cold Lightning and Wind Gust damage increased by 20%, so hopefully Elemental will be somewhat viable now because they're kind of lacking in all departments damage-wise. Moving on to Enhancement. Wind Fury Activation chance increased to 20%. Pretty much all they get, but that's a pretty significant buff in its own. Wind Fury is quite nuts when it goes off, so hopefully that will help that go off more often. And Restoration, their Chain Lightning damage has been increased by 23%. Moving on to Warlocks. Now, Warlocks across the entire board have been kind of shit. Their damage has been not that great, and everyone else has just been absolutely outshadowing them, like just been stomping them into the ground, and there's nothing they can do. So Warlocks are getting a massive buff across the entire board. Every single spec is getting a buff. Starting with my main spec and the one I love with Warlock, Affliction. Drain life damage increased by 10%. Drain soul damage increased by 10%. Corruption damage increased by 10%. This is amazing. Agony damage increased by 5%. This one is fucked. I think this is a bit overpowered, but I'm not going to complain because I'm playing the class. Unstable Affliction damage increased by 15%. Woo! That's going to be good. Seed of Corruption, which no one really cares about, but the damage increased by 15%. Siphon Life, once again, I fucking love this talent. Damage increased by 10%. Haunt, the damage is increased by 15%. And Phantom Singularity, damage increased by 15%. Affliction is already doing well, in my opinion. They were doing fine to begin with, and now they're, yeah, this is going to fucking throw them through the roof. It's going to be great, at least for me. And all you other Warlock players, everyone else out there, you're going to fucking be crying. Moving on to Demonology. So, Hand of Gul'dan impact damage increased by 20%. Demon Wrath damage increased by 15%. Ouch. Shadow Bolt damage increased by 10%. Doom damage increased by 10%. Wild Imp's damage increased by 10%. Holy shit, these guys are getting a buff everywhere. Dreadstalker's attack power increased by 10%. Felguard attack power increased by 10%. Doomguard for demonology only. Doom Bolt damage increased by 18%. Doom Bolt talent damage increased by 10%. Implosion, I love that spell, damage increased by 15%. And Shadow Flame, these are all talents by the way, damage increased by 10%. And Dark Glare increased by 10% as well, damage wise. So demonology getting a fucking huge buff across basically everything. And now destruction. Chaos Bolt damage increased by 11%. This is pretty much just 11% for all of these. So I'll just read out what the spells are. Chaos Bolt, Incinerate, Immolation, Conflagrate, Rain of Fire, and the cast time is also removed. Cataclysm and Channel Demon Fire. Every single one of those spells I just said are getting increased damage wise by 11%. So yeah, Destruction looking very good. Warlocks finally getting the buff that they need and across everything. So they should be coming more into the forefront now and doing a fuckload more damage, which is very good. Moving on to Warriors. Arms Warriors. Exploit the Weakness artifact trait. Bonus reduced to 3% per point. Focus Rage talent. Damage bonus reduced to 30%. And for Protection, Vengeance talent. Rage cost reduced to 35%. And Intercept Rage generation reduced to 10. And Shield Slam rage regeneration reduced to 10. So they basically got a bit of a nerf there, and that's pretty much all there is for the PvE side of things and how the classes are being changed majorly. The classes that have been doing pretty shit damage wise are all being buffed, which is nice to see. I am absolutely shattered that Havoc, my main spec for Demon Hunter, is being nerfed into the ground. I understand where they're coming from, but this is really gonna fucking hurt. I don't know where we're gonna sit because there are already classes that out damage us by a mile anyway. And with these new changes to just a nerf to basically everything, and there's significant numbers like 30% on Glaive Throw, 30% on that, 100% off the fucking Bloodlet talent. Like, we're getting nerfed pretty fucking hard. So yeah, that's making me cry a bit. I might have to switch over to the Warlock. We'll have to see. Warlock's got a massive buff. I'm happy about that. But yeah, it seems like they're actually doing an active job of buffing the people who are really weak at the moment and nerfing the people who are doing pretty good. I didn't see Fire get a single nerf here. That's kind of confusing because Fire is insane. Balance Druid's got a buff. I don't know why the fuck they gave them a buff. They're doing insanely as it is. And Havoc was sort of up near the top, but now they're fucking just nerfing them completely, which makes kind of no sense considering the fact that Unholy DKs, like I said, Fire Mages, Balance Druids, smash us anyway. So it's a bit weird, but we'll see how it plays out. Probably just to kill that whole Bloodlet Fell Rush spec that's been going around and try and make room for more. So we're just gonna have to change it up. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and if you want to see more videos from me, please hit the subscribe button. I shall see you in the next video. Have a good one.